Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rachakwadash. Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. And salutation, much love to the Akim out there pushing out his word in truth and sincerity. This is the brother Osh from Great Millstone, Tampa. Back with another quick lesson. Lord's will is going to be edifying. And I'm just going to do a quick video. I was, going or talking with ChatGPT. And I asked it about Leviathan. And what you about to see is through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai. But this is a video I did 2019, as you see on the screen. And I'm going to play a couple minutes of it. And pretty much what I seen in the dream is what ChatGPT says. Okay? And ChatGPT wasn't even around in 2019. But let me start with this because the Lord is to be feared, man. Now, I'm going to show you the conversation I had with GPT, or ChatGPT. Psalms 47:2, for the Lord, Yahweh Most High, is terrible. He is a great king over all the earth. He shall subdue the people under us and the nations under our feet. He shall choose our inheritance for us, the excellency of Jacob, whom he loves, Salah. And the point is, the Most High is terrible. He's great king over all the earth. All right, so let me just run this clip real quick, maybe 2 minutes of it. And just remember what, and again, this is 2019, almost 6, what month was it? July 20, so almost 6 years ago. All right, the Lord put this vision, as I titled the video. It was a dream, but I believe it to be a vision. I'll put the link in the description box if you want to watch it. Watch the whole video if you want. But check this out. Because watch what ChatGPT is going to say about Leviathan. And watch what they say, what they were saying in my dream.
All people are fighting each other. And I see, I give the baby back to his family. And, I'm asking people, like, what the hell happened here? What's going on here? And that people start telling me, oh, you didn't feel it? You didn't see it? And people are, they're hurt. They don't know what the hell's going on. They don't know what. And I'm going to this building and start asking more people, what happened here? Because it looked like a damn something great, big happened. All right, there's cars ran into buildings, fires. All right, some buildings are falling. All right, all kind of chaos and destruction. All right, utter confusion. So as the people start telling me what they saw and what happened, they're kind of describing an earthquake. But I was like, what? And they're like, you didn't feel it? I said, I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. And the people were, while they were describing it to me, they were afraid. They were like, you didn't see it? I was like, so what?
So they were afraid. All right, and remember that, because watch what ChatGPT is going to say about Leviathan.
It was an earthquake. The ground was shaking, and they were like, no, it was coming from the water. It was coming from the ocean. And they instantly, I knew what they were, in the dream, I instantly knew what they were talking about. They were talking about Leviathan. So, and it reminded me of this, the movie Godzilla, the one that came out back in 2014, when the final battle.
And remember Godzilla too, because I asked GPT about it.
Scene when he's fighting that creature. And if you look at that movie and you see how the city was, that's how pretty much it was in the dream. And so I instantly knew they were talking about Leviathan, and they're like, yeah, we they didn't really want to describe Leviathan because they were in such fear. But I knew what they were talking about because when they said that
so that's a key point right there. They couldn't even describe it because they were in such fear.
It was from the sea. The all this quake and shit, the shaking was from the sea. But they were talking about Leviathan. So, but I didn't, in the dream, I didn't see Leviathan. I'm just seeing the aftermath of him doing something. I don't know what it was, but it caused people to go into chaos and to panic. So then I meet up with another brother Arya in the camp, and I'm telling him, and he's hearing these things that I'm hearing, that as people are trying to explain it to us while they're just shitting their pants. And me and this brother, we're just calm and collective, and which brings Isaiah 33:6 to mind. So we go outside again, and it's like it's daytime now.
So that's the point that I wanted to hit on the video. Again, check the video out if you want. I'll put the link in the description box, Lord, as well. I remember. But this is what I asked ChatGPT. All right, I said draw a picture of Leviathan from the Bible, and it went on for like 20 minutes loading, and then eventually it says something went wrong while generating the image. Let me try again with a slightly revised approach. I attempted to generate an image of a Leviathan as described in the Bible, an awe-inspiring sea creature with massive serpent-like body, glowing scales, and fire-breathing features, emerging from stormy waves under a thunderous sky. However, there was a technical issue that prevented the image from being created. Yeah, the technical issue is above your pay grade. AI, this is above AI's pay grade. You can make Godzilla, you can make movies about serpents, dragons, and all this and that, but you can't ChatGPT's. But this and just keep watching. I asked it more than once. It said a technical issue prevented the image. Usually you type something in and create an image, whoop-de-whoop, it'll create it in 1 minute, 2 minutes at the most, right? But all of a sudden there's a technical issue. So it says, if you'd like, I can try again or guide you on how to visualize or create this image using art resources or detailed descriptions based on Bible text like Job 41, which I recommend you go read the whole chapter. Okay, whoever's watching this video, if you haven't read it, read it, and if you have read it, read it again. Okay, it says, "Let me know how you prefer to proceed." I said, "This is what I replied with." So I changed it up because at first I said draw a picture of Leviathan from the Bible. So this time I said, create an image of Leviathan from the Bible. Same thing again. About 25 minutes, maybe 30 went by, just loading and loading. And then what it say? It looks like the image generation is still running into a technical issue because this is above AI's pay grade. All right. And watch what I'm going to say, but let's keep reading. It says, while I work on resolving that, here's a vivid textual description of Leviathan based on the biblical account, mainly Job 41. Leviathan, the biblical sea monster. Imagine a colossal sea creature longer than a ship rising from a turbulent, storm-tossed ocean. You know, it's trying to paint a story and shit, you know, out of the depths of the ocean in a stormy night. But let's just keep reading, you know. Its body coils like a serpent, armored in scales that shimmer like brownish or like burnished bronze, so tightly sealed that not even air can pass between them. So it's taken from the Job 41 mainly, as it said in the previous right there. It says, smoke billows from its nostrils like steam from a furnace, and fire flash. So remember, this is going to happen. If it's not already happened, we don't know. How do you know? I don't know. You think Esau's going to tell you that Leviathan killed a bunch of people in the middle of the ocean, took a bunch of boats out? No, he's not going to tell you that. In the middle of the ocean, in the Pacific Ocean, Leviathan could be smashing people as we speak. I don't know. I'm just saying. It could be possible. It could not be possible. But until it's recorded on camera and it be spread, you know, the social media era. But ain't nobody sitting in the middle of the ocean recording. And if they did, they probably died, if that's the case anyway. I'm just making that point. But it says, smoke billows from its nostrils like steam from a furnace, and fire flashes from its mouth. Its eyes glow like the dawn, casting light over the waves. Every movement stirs whirlpools, and when it thrashes, waves crash like thunder. The sky above is dark and filled with lightning, mirroring the creature's wrath. Leviathan is untamable, majestic, and terrifying. That's why I brought out that Psalms. Because watch what ChatGPT is going to say. It's saying that Leviathan is terrifying, right? And majestic. But watch what it says later on, ChatGPT. It says a symbol of divine power over chaos. Let's go. If you'd like a hand-drawn or AI-generated visual later, I already asked you for that. But it says, I can try again once the tool is back to normal. Would you like me to keep trying until it works? And I said, nigga, I know the scriptures. I want a picture. It says I can create that image for you, but please avoid using offensive language. So even ChatGPT gets offended apparently from speech. He's a or ChatGPT's politically correct, right? The language police. It says let's keep things respectful so I can help you properly. Now generating the image again. Hang tight while I try once more, and it's still loading. Look, still loading, and that was hours ago. So it's still loading. So I stopped asking it for pictures, right? Because clearly it's not, it can't do it. It's still loading as we speak. And this was hours ago, right? So I said, Leviathan must be beyond your comprehension. And watch what GPT says. You are not wrong. Leviathan is meant to be overwhelming, even terrifying. In the Bible, especially in Job 41, it is described as so powerful that no one can tame or even challenge it. So Esau, you're finished. Your navies, anything, right? It can't stand toe to toe with Leviathan. It says that symbolism captures something deliberately beyond full human control or understanding. So you're tapping into something deep there. There you go. It's too deep for ChatGPT to understand that the Lord created something like this. But we understand it. We haven't seen it, but we understand it. But this is too much for Esau's technology to even comprehend. And it just admitted it right there. You see it on the screen. And it says, so you're tapping into something deep there because ChatGPT can't go too deep, right? It says, let me know if you'd like me to generate that image once the system allows it. Again, I'm here for it. I said, would you say it's more frightening than Godzilla if it existed, right? If Godzilla existed, would Leviathan be more frightening? And watch what ChatGPT comes to the conclusion. Absolutely. If Leviathan existed as described in the Bible, it would likely be more frightening than Godzilla. Here's why. Supernatural origin, Leviathan isn't just a big monster. It's a creature made by the Most High, or God, specifically to show how untamable and incomprehensible his power is. So ChatGPT starting to get he's starting to get it. Or it, right? I mentioned comprehension. Now ChatGPT's like, damn, this is incomprehensible, right? In Job 41, God basically says, if you're scared of this beast, imagine the one who made it. Ooh, that's why I brought out Psalms 47, right? For the Lord Most High is terrible. He is a great king over all the earth. So if Leviathan is terrible, untamable, right? Terrifying, how much more the one that made him? Let's keep reading, though. A little bit more. Invincibility. Its scales are described as impenetrable. Weapons, swords, spears, javelins bounce off of it. Nothing on earth can control it. Not even humans working together could trap it. Let's go. Elemental power. Unlike, here's the good point of Godzilla, right? Because you see the movies Godzilla, oh, blue, whatever. Unlike Godzilla's atomic breath, Leviathan breathes fire and smoke like a living forge. It's tied to the sea and chaos, stirring whirlpools and leaving destruction in its wake just by moving. Symbolism of chaos, Leviathan represents cosmic disorder and is often seen as an embodiment of evil or chaos in ancient literature. It's not just a creature, it's a mythical force, okay? Whatever. Yeah, it's going to bring chaos onto the wicked, right? So this is it right here. So yeah, in raw primal terror and in what it represents, Leviathan would put Godzilla to shame. So those movies of, you remember the Godzilla from the early 2000s, or maybe it was 99, 98, something like that. It was either 98, 99 or 2000. The movie Godzilla. I remember at the beginning of the movie, they got the dude, the Japanese or the gook, and they recording him at the hospital. And they're like, what happened? He's like, good, Godzilla. Good. That's nothing compared to Leviathan. It says Leviathan will put Godzilla to shame. And you see the movies, what horror and terror Godzilla causes. So what about Leviathan? All right, let's not forget about him. That's prophecy. It says Godzilla is terrifying, but Leviathan would make you question reality. I didn't even have to ask no more about that. When people see, and again, go back and watch that the dream I had, which I believe now to be a vision for sure. Shit. Hey, but Leviathan would make you question reality. Kahala Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. What else is there to say? Kahala Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. Stay tuned and watch. Pray. Repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. So with that, we're going to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem, Rachak, double honors to the elder apostles, great millstone who are well, and much love and salutation to the elect of Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai. Shalom.
Hello, my marvelous people. Today I'll be delving into the Monsterverse and exploring the much-feared monster Leviathan, which traces its origins back in the Bible, as well as Scotland. I'll be looking into the myths, legends, and ties associated with Leviathan, its physical capabilities and strengths, and its possible role in the Monsterverse as a formidable villain to Godzilla. And I'm sure you're curious to know how a creature like Leviathan is connected to a monster like Godzilla. Stay tuned to find out. Mythological origins of Leviathan, the biblical beast. As far as myths and legends go, the sea serpent Leviathan is described in the Bible by Job in the Old Testament. God created this enormous marine animal. The term Leviathan may also refer to a huge aquatic animal, a reptilian ocean monster, or something extremely large and strong. As the Monsterverse films have demonstrated, many of the old myths and legends can be explained by the fact that people were once aware of the Titans. Godzilla is much older than humans, and mammals for that matter, and he has occasionally appeared in human history. Accordingly, it's quite possible that the Hebrew Bible was referring to a real creature that would have been fairly well known. As per the map of known Titan locations in Godzilla, King of the Monsters, one of them, in Scotland, is referred to as Leviathan. However, Godzilla closely resembles the Leviathan described in the Book of Job and a number of other ancient religious texts. It's also been described as a dragon, or a large animal that resembles a crocodile. Due to their perceived extreme power, Leviathan has also been compared to its opposite, Behemoth, which is another biblical beast that emerged during the time of creation. The Leviathan has impenetrable scales that shoot fire from its mouth and is usually unaffected by human weapons and can cause natural disasters simply by moving. The sea monster is also said to possess rows of sharp teeth and a body as hard as rock. Another thing Leviathan is notorious for is leaving a glistening wake or having eyes like the rays of dawn. The statement, "Nothing on earth is his equal," is also found in the Book of Job, which supports Godzilla's position as king. Naturally, the only creature to challenge its authority was from a different planet, Scotland's hidden giant, Outpost 49, and the Loch Ness connection. Although its name implies a second connection to a much older beast, Leviathan served as the inspiration for the tale of the long-necked reptilian creature that was allegedly first sighted in Scotland in 1933. While Leviathan is referred to as a female in some myths, it is referred to as a male in others. Since the 7th century AD, people have been seeing Leviathan in the form of the Loch Ness Monster, or Nessie, an aquatic serpentine cryptid, in Loch Ness, Scotland. Monsterverse lore specifically states that the legend of the Loch Ness Monster originated from sporadic sightings of Leviathan. After Monarch discovered Leviathan in Loch Ness, Outpost 49 was constructed around it. The inside of the Once in a Maritime, a ship manned by cryptid enthusiasts, features a photograph of the Loch Ness Monster. The 1934 surgeon's photograph served as its inspiration. The monster Leviathan, also referred to Titanus Leviathan for scientific purposes, whose name appeared on one of the computer screens at Monarch's base, is one of the titans that is absent from the film Godzilla, King of the Monsters. In Loch Ness, Scotland, at Outpost 49, Leviathan is being closely observed. Furthermore, the novelization of King of the Monsters confirms that he travels through the water, which further clarifies his true identity if his location isn't already obvious. Leviathan is said to be able to travel the oceans, to enter and exit whenever it wants to. Only 9 of the 17 titans that are revealed to exist in the Monsterverse actually appear in Godzilla, King of the Monsters. At the heart of the action are 4 titans: Mothra, Rodan, Godzilla, and King Ghidorah. King Kong, the 5th Monsterverse titan, is an American pop culture icon that made his debut in 1933. The other 4 are all classic Toho Kaiju. The remaining Titans are unique to the Monsterverse. Physical design and appearance. Titanus Leviathan exclusively ruled the sea, as we already know. It's said that seafarers and fishermen alike regarded Titanus Leviathan as a god with eyes that glowed like twin moons and scales as dark as the abyss. According to legend, it could calm the raging seas with a single roar and call forth storms with a flick of its tail. Even Dante's own sword couldn't pierce the Leviathan's hide, which is long-lasting, and no other earthly or even supernatural weapon is said to be able to pass through it, with overlapping scales as big as shields on its back and as hard and sharp as shattered pottery on its undersides. The Leviathan's skin resembles a double coat of mail. Man-made bullets, harpoons, and swords, with all, just bounce off such a defense. Powers of the deep, hypothetical abilities, and capabilities. But I feel like it sounds more like Godzilla than Nessie. In the description of the Leviathan so far, one of Godzilla's designers, Tomoyuki Tanaka, referred to Godzilla as the son of the atomic bomb, where the dark side of the human soul has given rise to this nightmare, and he represents the apocalyptic sacred beast. Even the most courageous of men would shudder at the sight of a terrifying Leviathan, making anyone who opposes it cover in fear. A plethora of fish and other marine life have been seen flanking and encircling the Leviathan, demonstrating its complete dominion over the ocean's inhabitants, much like her fellow primordial beasts. Nearly any man-made structure can be destroyed by the burning lights that the Leviathan can project. Its eyes are known to emit a brilliant light that resembles the shimmering light of the dawn from its fins. This is demonstrated by the Leviathan's use of countless bioelectric feelers surrounding its mouth, which gather solar photokinetic energy from the water's surface and transfer it to its own body to create incredibly potent energy blasts, capable of destroying cruise ships in a single explosion. Using multiple patches of just a few connected feelers, the Leviathan can even produce scaled-down versions of these attacks. The strongest magicians could have teamed up to protect a whole region from the attacks, but even then, the force of these tiny explosions was enough to overwhelm their defenses. The Leviathan's region becomes lethal simply by charging the attack because the water gets so hot. Size matters. Leviathan among the Titans. In the book of Job, it's also mentioned that the Leviathan despises haughty and conceited people. When the Leviathan is hungry, he releases heat from his mouth that would cause all of the deep's waters to boil, especially when it swam on the surface. And if he were to descend into paradise, no living thing could stand the smell of him. The Mediterranean Sea serves as his home, and the Jordanian waters fall into his mouth. It rules over all marine life with brutality and fearlessness. Often regarded as one of the biggest sea-dwelling kaiju, this majestic titan's length is estimated to be an astounding 1,300 feet, which is definitely an unfathomable size. For comparison, Tiamat, another aquatic titan, renowned for her slithering form and powerful fighting skills, is much smaller than that. To put it in perspective, Leviathan would be a true giant among titans, dwarfing both Godzilla, approximately 393 feet tall, and even King Ghidorah, approximately 521 feet tall in wingspan. The gargantuan size of Leviathan isn't merely for show in combat, it changes the rules. In underwater settings, where size often equates to power, Leviathan dominates through sheer bulk. Consider this. A titan this size could unleash shock waves that confuse smaller enemies by generating tremendous water pressure with its movements. Furthermore, Leviathan's thicker armor-like skin makes it difficult to harm or penetrate through. In a grappling match, its immense strength could easily defeat other sea titans, and it could crush or even pin opponents to the ocean floor with its sheer weight. Leviathan's role in the Monsterverse hierarchy. Let's now explore the intriguing dynamics of Leviathan in the Monsterverse. Often envisioned as a destroyer titan, similar to King Ghidorah, Leviathan is notable for having the potential to exist solely for the purpose of causing destruction and chaos when let loose. In contrast to Godzilla, who represents harmony and serves as Earth's guardian, since it's a force that disturbs rather than heals. This categorization might imply that Leviathan, like Ghidorah, acts outside of nature, due to either external influences or innate aggression. This brings us to the next biblical allusion in the Monsterverse: Leviathan's relationship to Behemoth. Behemoth ruled the land, Leviathan ruled the seas. Behemoth is practically thematically opposite to Leviathan. Future threat. Why Leviathan could be the next big villain. The destructive and chaotic nature of Leviathan, in contrast to Godzilla, may pave the way for future titanic battles, further upsetting the equilibrium. If Leviathan were to become a rogue force, it could threaten Godzilla's position as Earth's guardian, putting the planet's survival and balance of power to the ultimate test. Leviathan might potentially become the biggest threat to the Monsterverse, outperforming King Ghidorah due to the former being known as Destroyer Titan, the unseen terror, while Leviathan remains hidden. In order to maintain its mythological mystique and heighten suspense, Leviathan is purposefully absent from the Monsterverse. The Godzilla franchise capitalizes on the power of the unknown by largely omitting this potentially world-ending titan. Fans can make assumptions about Leviathan's size, powers, and impact because of its ominous presence as a mysterious threat, adding more depth to the Monsterverse lore. A new era of epic battles and more extensive lore could be ushered in if Leviathan were to fully emerge, redefining the Titan's power dynamics and forcing humanity and its guardians Godzilla and Kong to face their biggest obstacle to date. Marvelous verdict. Because Leviathan represents chaos and destruction, unlike any Titan before his mysterious presence in the Monsterverse, I think it adds a layer of heightened intrigue and suspense. Its unseen nature maintains its mythological aura and feeds various fan theories. Leviathan acts as a future threat that could upset the Titan ecosystem and force Godzilla, Kong, and humanity to form alliances in order to stop its global spread. The Monsterverse power dynamics would be completely altered if this biblical monster materialized, adding to its never-ending lore and presenting epic battles that examine themes of destruction versus unity in the struggle for Earth's survival.
Job 41. Canst thou draw out Leviathan with an hook, or his tongue with the cord which thou lettest down? Canst thou put an hook into his nose, or bore his jaw through with a thorn? Will he make many supplications unto thee? Will he speak soft words unto thee? Will he make a covenant with thee? Wilt thou take him for a servant forever? Wilt thou play with him as with a bird? Or wilt thou bind him for thy maidens? Shall the companions make a banquet of him? Shall they part him among the merchants? Canst thou fill his skin with barbed irons, or his head with fish spears? Lay thine hand upon him, remember the battle, do no more. Behold, the hope of him is in vain. Shall not one be cast down even at the sight of him? None is so fierce that dare stir him up. Who then is able to stand before me? Who hath prevented me that I should repay him? Whatsoever is under the whole heaven is mine. I will not conceal his parts, nor his power, nor his comely proportion. Who can discover the face of his garment? Or who can come to him with his double bridle? Who can open the doors of his face? His teeth are terrible round about. His scales are his pride, shut up together as with a close seal. One is so near to another that no air can come between them. They are joined one to another. They stick together, that they cannot be sundered. By his sneezings a light doth shine, and his eyes are like the eyelids of the morning. Out of his mouth go burning lamps, and sparks of fire leap out. Out of his nostrils goeth smoke, as out of a seething pot or cauldron. His breath kindleth coals, and a flame goeth out of his mouth. In his neck remaineth strength, and sorrow is turned into joy before him. The flakes of his flesh are joined together. They are firm in themselves, they cannot be moved. His His heart is as firm as a stone, yea, as hard as a piece of the nether millstone. When he raiseth up himself, the mighty are afraid. By reason of breakings they purify themselves. The sword of him that layeth at him cannot hold, the spear, the dart, nor the habergeon. He esteemeth iron as straw, and brass as rotten wood. The arrow cannot make him flee. Sling stones are turned with him into stubble. Darts are counted as stubble. He laugheth at the shaking of a spear. Sharp stones are under him. He spreadeth sharp pointed things upon the mire. He maketh the deep to boil like a pot. He maketh the sea like a pot of ointment. He maketh a path to shine after him. One would think the deep to be hoary. Upon earth there is not his like, who is made without fear. He beholdeth all high things. He is a king over all the children of pride.
Godzilla. -1.
That puts the epicenter of the 7.1 earthquake right in the heart of the San Francisco Bay.
This just into News Australia.
Si l'aviation ne parvient pas.
We've also been getting strange reports of something moving under the Golden Gate Bridge.
I mean, it must be 300 feet tall.
Cars are tumbling off the bridge.
San Francisco has now become a war zone. Unless the jets can bring down this massive creature, I don't know what is going to be left of this city.
Cutting a 3-mile wide path of destruction for the city of San Francisco. I can only pray that this is the end of it.
Has nuclear fallout over the Pacific.
Confirmed reports of a large seismic event off the California coast, with reports of power outages across the United States.
It's just like this.
That puts the epicenter of the 7.1 earthquake right in the heart of the San Francisco Bay.
This just into News Australia.
Si l'aviation ne parvient pas.
We've also been getting strange reports of something moving under the Golden Gate Bridge.
Every step we make is hard to
I mean, it must be 300 feet tall.
Cars are tumbling off the bridge.
and every
San Francisco has now become a war zone. Let the jets to bring down this massive creature. I don't know what is going to be left of this city.
Cutting a 3-mile wide path of destruction for the city of San Francisco. I can only pray that this is the end.
The words are fair, need to override. But maybe another day, just not today. So maybe another day, but not today. When suddenly the lie becomes the truth. When we don't know why. I can't wait to.
O Lord, how manifold are thy works! In wisdom hast thou made them all. The earth is full of thy riches. So is this great and wide sea, wherein are things creeping, innumerable, both small and great beasts. There go the ships. There is that Leviathan whom thou hast made to play therein. These wait all upon thee, that thou mayest give them their meat in due season, that thou givest them their gather. Thou openest thine hand, they are filled with good.